At the end of December, I made a video about the top 10 eShop games you could currently get on the Nintendo Switch at that time. They were my favorites, and obviously there were some that people recommended, like, hey, put this in your next video, hey, put this in your next video. And I was just thinking about all these games that have come out recently that I've been playing, and I just thought to myself, I think I need to be doing one of these videos every month about, because there's so many amazing games that have come out since then, that even on this list of these 10 games, I'm not going to be able to fit them all. But here we are again with the best top 10 Nintendo Switch eShop games worth buying. So let's jump into it. The first game that I have to talk about is Blossom Tales: The Sleeping King. Now, this actually kind of snuck up on me. I didn't expect this game to come out. I didn't expect this game to be as good as it was, but it's amazing. To put it simply, it's a modern version of A Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and that is one of the best praises that you can give this game. It's a huge open world game, but it looks a lot like The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, where you go through dungeons, you have to fight bosses and go through puzzles, you get different weapons, different spells, different abilities, and the game is just beautiful. You can see by the graphics here, it's gorgeous. It plays very similarly to those older style games, but being on the Nintendo Switch, it's a great pick up and play game. And if you guys like games like A Link to the Past and other things like that, this game is for you. I would definitely recommend it up, and it's so cheap that it's worth it. I was just shocked when this came out and how good it was, that I just think anyone who likes these older type of classic games needs to play this. I don't want to spoil much about it because it does actually have a really cool story and the kind of ideas that it plays with, but just get Blossom Tales. It's so good and you won't regret it, especially if you like this type of game. Oh, so recommended. The next game is a game that's been out for quite a while on PC, and I believe it came to consoles as well, as I'm not entirely sure, other than Nintendo Switch, obviously. And that is Night in the Woods. Now, this game is really different looking, and I think there's a lot of people that have been turned off just by what the design is, but it's an amazing game about a cat. Yes, a cat. Coming back to their hometown and realizing things are really different. They want to come back and fit in and just go into normal life, but that's not going to happen. It's similar to when I talked about Oxenfree, where this game has a lot of story, a lot of talking between characters and choices, but the game is just, there's so much charm and so much character, and because you're a younger character, you have a little bit of that angst, and like there deals with a lot of different emotions. And as you can see from the graphics, again, this is just such a beautiful game. And if you look on YouTube for Night in the Woods, there are so many big YouTubers that played it, and it's one of those games when it came out there's a lot of press about, because it just engages you so deeply and you just start loving the characters and the place that you're in and like the kind of intrigue and mystery of the story. So I think especially if you like games like we talked about, like with Oxenfree and stuff like that, it's not a point and click adventure. It's a lot more easily accessible, but I think everyone should play this game as well. This is a game, it's not too long, but it's so enjoyable, and again, for the cheap price that it's at, I definitely think this one's worth a pickup. If you're kind of like on the fence about it, I'm sure there'll be a sale for it pretty soon, especially considering the fact that, yeah, the game has been around for so long, but Night in the Woods is for sure worth a pickup as well. Celeste. This game was given a 10 out of 10 on IGN, and for a platforming indie game on the Nintendo Switch that tries pretty hard to be difficult, that's an amazing feat, and IGN was not the only one to give it a high review score like this. The beauty of Celeste is that it's very similar to another game on this list that I'm going to talk about because of Celeste, Super Meat Boy, but we'll get into that later. The thing about this game is that it not only has the hard platforming where you feel so accomplished, but the music and the story and the meaning behind it are extremely deep. So first and foremost, the game takes place in each little small screen, as you can see from the screenshots here. There's each part, you go from screen to screen, there's no loading, but the reason it's got such small, quick screens is because the puzzles are very difficult. Each time you pass one, you don't want to have to go back to the last one that you were on. One of the beauties of this game is that it can be played in such quick chunks that you can just pop it on, go through 3 or 4 little stages, and then be done and play it again later. And that's one of the awesome parts, that you can struggle and struggle and struggle for 5-10 minutes on one screen, get past that screen, and then get through 5 or 6 more and feel extremely accomplished really quickly. But that's just one of the fun parts about this game. The controls are really tight. There's never any moments that I felt like, oh, I missed that jump because the controls weren't good or the platform didn't move how it was supposed to, or anything like that. The game itself feels amazing. It's a joy to play, and it does beat you up a lot. A lot of the times when anything difficult comes out, they compare it to Dark Souls where you die a lot, but this game is a lot more, the dying is instantaneous. So instead of like dying and being like, oh, I don't know if I want to play, I'm gonna turn it off, you die and you are back spawned so fast that you don't even have time to think about quitting. You just go straight into it again, and that's one of the beauties of it as well. And the music in this game, excellent. It's so good. It just, you have to hear the soundtrack to be able to appreciate it. And when you play it, you're going to find yourself being so touched by the music that you'll just, even if you're dying, but you won't want to stop because the music is so good. And the other thing that's really good about it, and I think a reason why a lot of people gave it praise, is it's a story about overcoming obstacles, about overcoming depression and anxiety. You're climbing up this giant mountain and you're dying a lot, but when you do, it gives you inspirational messages about not giving up and not quitting, and you get to see the struggle of this character, and it's really a reflection on the human person who struggles with anything, overcoming depression, overcoming anxiety, overcoming these obstacles and these things that are really hard and they keep setting us back over and over again. And so even though you're getting beat up in the game, the fact that it's constantly making you feel good and making you feel like, I can do this, I can beat this, that is such a huge achievement. And that's one of the biggest reasons that this game is above the rest, especially when it comes to games that put you through a lot of death and put you through a lot of trial and error, is that you always feel like you want to keep going, especially because you want to overcome the game as much as the game wants you to overcome it. And that's awesome. So I would definitely pick this up to anyone, especially if you like this kind of game. This will be one of the best you've ever played for sure. So this one is for my RPG lovers out there, and the thing about it is that it got okay reviews, but really why I want to talk about it is because there aren't very many games like this on the Switch still to this day, and that is Lost Sphere. Like I said, the game didn't get raving reviews. I think it stands somewhere around a 7 on Metacritic right now, but it is a really good RPG. You'll enjoy it a lot. It's got a lot of time in it. There's a lot of really cool callbacks to older games, and that's one of the beauties of it as well, is there's so many references that you'll just find, especially if you like older RPGs, especially Square Enix stuff, there'll be so much love here for you. The thing that people talk about a little bit is because there's so much references, it kind of struggles with its own identity, and I can see that a little bit, but because there aren't very many RPGs out on the Switch right now, and this is one that I played through and I really enjoyed. I think if you like RPGs, especially like I Am Setsuna, which came out earlier on the Switch, and Xenoblade Chronicles and stuff like that, that you'll really enjoy this game as well. I believe Lost Sphere even still has a demo on the Nintendo Switch, and if that's the case, download the demo and kind of see how it is. The demo is not the greatest show of the game itself. I kind of was like, oh, this is like, there's not very many good graphics. It shows like you're walking through a cave and it's kind of dark, and like it doesn't really showcase the beauty of the game, but you can kind of see the feel for it and the fighting style and everything. I actually really enjoyed it, and I think, like I said, if you like RPGs, it's great. It is a bit on the pricey side, but if you're an RPG nut like me, this is a game that you should get because, you know, it's one of the few on the Switch, so you gotta take them where you can get them, right? The Escapists 2, another game that came out on other things before the Nintendo Switch, but is such a unique game that I think any Switch owner who hasn't played any of the Escapists games owes it to themselves to play this. The basic idea of this is you're trying to escape from jail, and you can look from the graphic, it's very cute. It's like kind of pixelated art up above, and there's so many different things you can do, like elaborate things. You form relationships. The awesome thing about this game is it's open world-y in the sense that there's this giant jail that you're trying to escape from, but the thing about it is that there's so much choice and so much different actions that you can do. You can form relationships, you can have other people help you escape, you can form relationships with the guards. Now on top of forming relationships, you can find different materials, find different objects, and you can use different ways to escape out of the jail. And that's one of the things that's really great about the game, is there's a lot of replayability in the sense of you do something one way and the next time you're like, I don't want to do that, I'm going to switch it up and do it a different way this time. And if you get caught, it can set back your progress a lot, especially if you have things on you and they find those things. There's just a ton of things that this game does that's really unique. There aren't very many jail escape games, and it also gives you so many choices, and it's just really fun to mess around with, especially like if you're a streamer or a YouTuber, or you're someone who plays around with other people, you have friends that you play with and stuff like that. This is a blast game to watch. It's really enjoyable because there is tension, even though you look at the graphics, you're like, there's probably not much tension. There's totally tension. And yeah, I would just recommend this. You can see from the graphics and the style of it if it's something that you think you'd be interested in, but it's a blast to play. There's a lot of ridiculous stuff that happens. The charm of the game is there, and I just really like it. I enjoyed escaping and doing all of the different actions and getting caught and like, dang it, now I gotta figure out another way to do it. So yeah, Escapists 2. It's one you probably haven't heard of, but it's great. So I referenced Super Meat Boy earlier in talking about Celeste, and that's the one I'm going to talk about now. Celeste kind of takes the whole Super Meat Boy formula and turns it into something bigger and better. But if you want something that's harder than Celeste, I think, in my opinion, and also is much less forgiving, And some people like that kind of stuff, you know, they like the really, really hard stuff. Super Meat Boy is for you. I think Super Meat Boy has a lot more levels too. I can't exactly remember. It's been quite a while since I played through the entirety of Super Meat Boy. I played through it all when it came out, but obviously I haven't replayed through it all right now. But there's a ton of levels. Levels are a bit more expansive on Super Meat Boy. It's not just a small little screen like it is in Celeste. And Super Meat Boy does not have that inspirational stuff that Celeste has. It just beats you up and you just got to keep going through it. And it's a lot of fun. I think it's worth a buy, especially after you get Celeste. If you'll finish that game and you're like, oh, I want to do more of this, Super Meat Boy is the way to go. I'd recommend Celeste first, then Super Meat Boy. You can get them both for like under $40, I think. I think Celeste might be 20 and Super Meat Boy might be 15. I think I'm correct in that. So yeah, they're not very expensive and they're both really fun experiences. Celeste is definitely better in my opinion, but Super Meat Boy has so many obstacles to overcome, puzzles, things to think about, and you feel so happy when you get through some of those later levels in Super Meat Boy, because that game gets nuts. There's tons of time trials and you got to get the best score and everything like that. And while Celeste has that stuff too, that's really the end game of Super Meat Boy, is beating those scores, getting the highest score and really destroying those levels. And it can be a lot of fun. So Super Meat Boy is another one that I would recommend. So this game, again, I feel like a lot of these games in this list are very different. Like they're not games like a lot of other games that come out, and that is Fury. And to describe this game is kind of hard because, like I said, it's such a unique game. You can see from the gameplay footage right here, the way that you fight, like sometimes you have far range and sometimes you have close range, and you move around in these weird arenas. And the game is just so unique. It's really hard to describe exactly what you do. I'm gonna let the gameplay kind of speak for this game, and there's reviews and stuff that you can watch online. I might link to a video in the description about this game. The gameplay is basically close-up sword fighting and dual stick shooter. The whole concept of the game is that you've been captured and you're defeating these different bosses over and over again, trying to get to the jailer so that you can destroy him and be free. And the cool thing is, like, the jailer totally mocks you throughout the game and like makes you feel like crap and everything, and you're just getting there, you're like, no, I'm gonna get to you, I'm gonna get free, it's gonna happen. And I think the look of this game is one of the big selling points. While the combat is a lot of fun, I really enjoy the different arenas, the different settings, and every time I get to a new place, I'm like, whoa, this looks cool. And so this game is one of those games where you just want to get in, you just want to beat bosses that require some tactical things, and sometimes you'll be having to shoot them from far away, and then you have to come in close and dodge all their attacks and everything. And there's different walls, like you can shoot at a wall and the walls will break or they'll move in the levels, and so you'll have to be able to move around those. And there's just, it's a more of a tactical game, but there is a lot of character to it. It reminds me of those type of games where, you know, you get out of jail and you hear the guy talking to you and he's like, you're not going to be able to do this unless you do this, and you feel like you have to obey this guy. But in this game, you're really just trying to get through over and over again and destroying these difficult bosses in one-on-one duels to be able to get to this guy, finally defeat him, and set yourself free. Like I said, the gameplay is going to speak for itself, but this game is really awesome. And I think, especially if you like any kind of game like this, sword fighting, dual stick shooting, that interesting kind of intrigue that's different and not in a lot of games, then this would be the one for you. So I'm going to recommend Human Fall Flat, and I feel like some people are going to try to give me crap for that, but this game has provided so many laughs, and I watch anybody play this and it's hilarious. The game is basically, you're just like ragdoll physics trying to accomplish these puzzle tasks, and the fun thing about it is that there's just so much mayhem that happens. You're trying to get something solved, because you're ragdolling around, you'll fall off the side and do ridiculous things, and especially if you're playing with other people, this game is so fun. I've heard so many people making stories, like saying, I'm this person, and like role playing through this world. And it's just because it's so silly, I think this is a great game, not only for kids that have someone to help them, because it is kind of hard to play. Ragdoll physics aren't super easy to control, but especially if someone with a bit of humor and you play together, it's so funny. Or even on streams, YouTubers, stuff like that. It's a great game to play if you just want to have some fun, some ridiculous laughs, because it's constantly, you jump up and you try to grab onto something, you're flailing around and you fall, and it just looks hilarious. And I'll obviously be showing some gameplay footage here so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. But this game, it's got a different kind of charm. The whole idea of it is charming, and that's what's so fun. And I recommend this game to anyone who just wants to have some fun, just wants to jump into a world and be ridiculous. This is that type of game for sure. Owlboy, a game that was in development for 10 years. I love one of the descripting things that they say for it on the site. They say a love letter of pixel art to a new audience. And that's something that when you play this game, you can immediately pick up. This game is freaking gorgeous. You're never gonna have to be like, oh, that was ugly in this game, because it is amazingly put together. But one of the biggest beauties of this game is your Owlboy, obviously. You have the ability to fly around, but you don't just get all these power-ups where suddenly you're flying around, you're shooting at people, and you're being this crazy powerful owl. For instance, if you want to shoot, you pick up Owlboy's friend and you carry him around and he shoots. You can still aim and choose where to shoot and stuff, but the cool part about it is there's so much about cooperation and so much about needing other things to help you that this game doesn't ever make you feel super OP or really powerful. It gives you a great feeling of needing others, and kind of the story is beautiful in that sense that it makes you think about cooperation. It makes you think about in the world how we need others to help us and we need to help others. And that's one of the beautiful parts of this game, on top of the fact that it's an open world exploration game and it's gorgeous and it's just a blast to play. The sentiments in Owlboy just add on to that. And like I said, 10 years in the making. When you play this game, you can feel the love that's put into it. It's not one of those games that's unpolished. You're gonna encounter a bunch of bugs and you're not gonna feel like, man, I wish I would have put my money into something else, because this game is a love letter. And you can tell from every minute of it that the developer cared about this game so much. And that's one of the things I just like supporting things like this, because they deserve that support and I want to see what they're going to work on next. So I would recommend Owlboy to everyone. It's such a beautiful game and it is a love letter and it's just so fantastic. Pick up Owlboy. Just do it, please, for me. Pick up Owlboy! And last but not least, man, I love this game. I love this game. I want to do a review on it. I want to do live streams with it. It's so freaking good. And that is Dragon Quest Builders. This is Dragon Quest Minecraft. Done. Don't need to say anything else. But really, I do though. A lot of people don't like Minecraft because of the fact that it's so player driven that there isn't any story. Technically, you have to create the story. There isn't really a world. You have to create the world. In Dragon Quest Builders, it looks a lot more like a third-person action adventure game where you're pretty far away, your character, and you're running around. But it's the same mechanics of you just have to build a pickaxe and go mine stuff, and the blocks break, and you go build those blocks somewhere else. But this game has a deep story with tons of quests, NPCs with voice lines and amazing different character arcs, and there's just so much you can do in this game. You explore 5 different areas, 5 different worlds, and in each one there's a bunch of different enemies, a bunch of different characters. You build up different cities and you have all these different options that you do, powers, you actually customize the world around you. So there's a ton more to do in this game outside of the player stuff, if that makes sense. Like Minecraft, you can build literally anything. You look at some of the Minecraft creations people have made and it's ridiculous. And Dragon Quest Builders does not have that level of customization. However, Dragon Quest does have, like I said, a story, quests, characters, and it makes you feel like you're a part of this world where the world around you is alive and you're just building and making this experience in this world, rather than where in Minecraft it just feels like I can just build whatever I want and do whatever I want. So that's one of the beautiful things about Dragon Quest Builders. I recommend this to anyone who even likes Minecraft a little bit but wants more story, would love quests, would love other characters being in the game, would love more stuff to do and like a bit of direction instead of just simply like, hey, just go build whatever you want. Because I know for me, if I really sit down and take the time to plan something out, I can do it, but it's much more fun and much more engaging for me to be like, oh, they want me to go do this quest, which is going to help me to do this, and once I do whatever they want me to do, now I can continue building my own thing because I have kind of a way to go, a direction. And if for young people this is good too, because it lets them not only just be creative but enables them to follow quests, read a lot, and be able to continue those other skills as well. So Dragon Quest Builders, if you haven't played this, what are you doing in your life? You're missing out. Go play this game. Alright guys, that is another top 10 best Nintendo Switch eShop games that you need to buy. I hope this helped you out. I hope you buy some of these games and really enjoy them. I'll have links to as many of them as possible in the description, and Nintendo eShop cards if they are not on Amazon or whatever site they'll be on. If you can only buy them on the eShop, there will be eShop cards in the description below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you let me know any other videos you'd like to see in the comments. And if I left any games out that you would like to see featured in new videos, leave those in the comments as well, because like I said, I'll probably be making a lot more of these videos in the future. And if you're new to the community, you enjoyed this video and like to see a lot more, make sure to smash that subscribe button to get notified of every new video that comes out. And don't forget to give that like button some love. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's continue to create the greatest community in the world. I'll see all you guys in the next video.